Okay, how about now? Testing, testing. I switched out mics. Let's see if this makes a difference. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Don't you love the technology? All right, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Audio is okay. All right, woohoo. All right, don't ask me why it didn't work before, but I switched out mics, so hopefully we're okay now. All right, let me get going because I got to go through these administrational things again. All right, so let me do that and welcome all champion traders out there. Good to have you here. All right, so let me just go through this stuff again real quick. First thing, of course, is I have to talk about the risks involved in trading. I think we all know there's risks in trading, but we do have to remind everybody that there is. And of course, like I always say, without that risk, there is no opportunity. So the two really go hand in hand. But you need to actually be aware of the risk because on each and every trade, we want you to use risk control. And that's important. Also contact your financial advisor or whoever manages your money to make sure the trades we talk about here or the concepts we discuss are suitable for you because we don't know your personal situation. And of course, they do. And then finally, please use risk control on each and every trade and use risk capital. Now, if you need help with risk control, we just came out with a brand new book called The Money Management for Traders on the far right of this slide. That's the green colored book. It is a great book. It's inexpensive. And we basically isolate everything you need to know to set up risk control within your trading environment. So it's a great book to calculate position size, talks about risk of ruin and all that risk to reward, for example. And it takes all the concepts that are in my more comprehensive book on the far left called A Trader's Money Management System and puts it into a condensed, easy to read solution for risk control. And also comes in a lot of formats. It comes in the audio, comes in the Kindle, it comes in the soft cover and the hard cover. So there's something for everybody out there. And then also too, the other books deal with technical analysis. And I'll tell you, in this environment today, the book called Survival Guide for Traders is a really, really helpful book. And a lot of people have been getting that. And the reason for that is because it talks about running your trading business out of your home. And with so many people now working from home, this has been a home run for them. It's a great reference book. It talks about the different charting platforms, talks about some trading basics. So definitely check that out as well. All right, and then when we get to charts today, we're going to be using our proprietary software. And we have charting software, we have scanners, and we have risk control software. So we pretty much cover the entire gambit of what is necessary for you to have tools that will do the job with your trading. And one of the important things is, you have to have scanners because you have to be able to sort through the thousands and thousands of trading opportunities. The scanners do that. And then we have to apply risk control on each and every trade. The risk control software does that. And then finally, too, we have the charting software at the top. And that's what you're going to basically see today when we look at charts. So just be aware of that. And then finally, I want to thank you all for being here and subscribing. And I call you guys my champion traders because you're pretty much here every week. And it's great to have you. And if you're watching the recording, same as well. All right, before we get digging in here, with the markets going crazy, I see the stocks coming in. Great job. I'll get to those in just a minute. And great that you're typing those in caps. I want to really quickly just go over some of the charts on the Dow Jones. A lot of people have questions on that. This sell-off that we've experienced this entire year, for the most part, has been part of a larger long-term correction, okay, that we are in at this point. Okay, so if we take a look at this, all right, we've ended a top here, and on the daily chart, we're calling this a wave 5 if you're an Elliott wave person. And then we have this big first move down, and that's an A wave, and it's hit the target zone. So we're kind of seeing if it's going to go back in the target zone one more time or spring up from here and go into the next wave, which will be a broad-based bullish B wave. And then in the Elliott wave corrective patterns, after B wave, that gives way to the C wave, which is another big bearish wave, and that completes the correction. So I think we're either at the bottom or close to the bottom, all right, of A wave. So I think that's kind of where we're at now. And these little numbers inside A wave are all part of the Elliott wave count for those of you that are into that, because there's 5 waves in an A wave. So that's kind of where we are now. Now I have another chart called the 60-minute chart that I did, and this was last Sunday. And this one showed that we kind of had a chance to go back into the A wave on a 5th wave down for the Elliott wave count. So we'll see. So this is either a bottom or this could be a 3, 4, 5. And we're just going to have to wait for the market to kind of tell us what it's going to do here. But if it gets above a key level of resistance, which is 33,207.40, then A wave is over. Okay, otherwise it still possibly could be unfolding. So you got to be a little nimble here as it's working its way. Now, the broader base picture here on this one is this chart here. And this is a weekly chart. So every price bar here represents a full week of activity. This is a long-term chart. So in this case here, in terms of an Elliott wave, we ended a 3 up here. And this is our A wave down that we looked at on the other charts. This is a B wave. And then that will give way eventually to a C wave. And we do think it's going to go back into the teens before it's all over. So we're talking a very large correction here. Not probably right away, because I think B wave will be a bullish wave. And you traders out there, you know, you can trade the long side on B wave. And then just be nimble, use stops. And then when B wave is over, we start going down and you can trade to the short side going down as well. But I do think it's going to get below the COVID low. And I'm thinking probably anywhere from a target range below the COVID low down to 15,000 on the Dow. So this is a huge correction. And the PTF indicator, which is one of my proprietary indicators, is showing red here. So there's a 75% probability on this indicator that during the next correction will go down. And we're in that correction now. So that's kind of just a quick summary on what's going on. I kind of know everybody's kind of interested in this stuff. So I thought I'd throw it out there. All right, let's get in and take a look here at what's cooking here. All right, so let me go here and find out where my first set of stocks up. So I really appreciate great turnout today for the summer, you know, live session during the summer. A lot of people are away. And I think, Al, you are the first one here. And let's take out CHWY. CHWY. All right, let's see what's cooking on that bad boy. All right, so that had come down, and Al, I'm not sure if this is one we looked at before, but this seems to be really at this point now coming up nicely. And I like the fact that you're coming off a bottom. Okay, so we're not chasing a trend, but we are getting in early on what may be a significant move to the upside. Now, let's take a look and see what we can take a look at for a target zone. So the Elliott wave is kind of interesting. If you look on that weekly chart on the far right-hand side, for those of you that have been here long enough, you know I use 3 screens when I look at markets. This is the scanner up here running, okay? Since I'm just going to be taking stocks today, I'm not going to be looking at that. But this chart here on the left is a 60-minute chart. So that's our short-term aspect of the market we look at. This is the daily, intermediate, and this is the weekly for the long term. So basically, when I look at a chart like this or a stock like this or anything, I always look at 3 time frames. It kind of gives me a nice synopsis of what's kind of going on with this market. So if you look on the far right, on the weekly, we went up and now we've gone down. So, you know, if you were buying and holding this, okay, you'd almost be exactly where you bought it. All right, you wouldn't have made any money, but it would have been quite a ride, right? But if you were trading this, you had an opportunity to trade up and also an opportunity to trade down. And if you look at the pyramids here, just on the weekly chart, you could have gone in early on these pyramids, gotten stopped out there, and then taken a short as well. So it would have been actually a very doable trade. But this is a weekly chart, so that would have been a few years of activity, right? All right, so what's it going to do now? Well, on the weekly chart, we're not really sure what Elliott wave it's in because there's not a lot of history. Maybe it's in a 2 going into a 3. But if we look at the daily chart, you can see, again, that almost inverted V shape up and down. But we do have a positive 60-minute chart, and it has been positive for quite some time. and we do have a move up. So let's draw some fibs on this and take a worst case scenario of where we think this thing could be going if it sells off again. We're getting kind of close to the target range. Now, the idea behind this is this may or may not be a corrective trade. And that's what's difficult when you don't have enough history on the weekly chart. It's hard to tell what Elliott wave counts in. Are we in a 3, or have we completed, is this 3, was this 4, this 5? That's possible, all right? Or we still could be in a 3. And if that's the case, we're only going to go up here and then have another sell-off. So you got to kind of think of that. It would have been nicer to get in actually a little bit earlier, but it's okay. So here's how I'm going to leave this for you, Al, all right? I think CHWY, nothing wrong with being long on CHWY, all right? And if you're long there, I would stay long because you've got a green colored PTF on the 60-minute chart, and that is this indicator right here. And when this is green, it has a 75% accuracy rate, and it's showing it's going to go higher. So it doesn't tell you how much higher, but it's higher than the highest price bar in that green area. So you're going to have a little bit more move up. Worst case scenario we get here. Best case scenario is it just keeps going. And if that's the case, this would have been a 1, 2, and if it's a 3, it's just going to keep going. So I would hold on this, and let's see what happens when it gets into the target zone. If anybody out there wants to take this, it's a little risky. Make sure you put your stop at the very bottom because you're due for a pullback, and then it'll be very telling at that point. I'd probably, if you're not in it yet, I'd wait for the pullback and then wait for the spring to see if this bottom holds. And you might be able to even get in at a better price. All right. So that is CHWY, CHWY rather. All right. So that is CHWY. All right. And that's for Al. Next one for Al is GO, G-O. All right, so GO is up quite a bit. Al's long on this one too. Let's see what we got here. Okay, well, the nice thing about this one, Al, is here's your pyramid trading point right there. So I know you own the software, so just have your stop right there. The reason I want you to have your stop there is you're having bearish divergence here. So you're probably due for a correction down into the 30s, mid 30s to upper 30s before this could resume. But it's definitely going higher, but it's due for a correction. So I don't know if you're trading the weekly chart or the daily chart, but if you're going to try to make it all the way to the end of the trend, then you're going to have your stop far away because it is going to correct. I would personally get out at this pyramid. Wait for it to correct, and then if you want to go back in, you can do it then. But that's the way I would play that. All right, and then AMC, long as well. All right, so AMC here, okay, has come down, and we got a red PTF still on the daily chart. We have a bullish 60-minute chart, so it looks like we probably are going to go up. Let's see where the high of that is. So the high of that is 16. So it's kind of basically saying this chart here with this is basically saying we're going to go above the May 31st high, which is here. So there's a 75% probability we're going higher here. Now, we could go high here with this red. We could see a reversal and come back down. So a little tricky on this one, but I think you can hold that until the PTF turns yellow, and then I would trail the stop real close. All right, let's see. Key, how are you doing? Key found some good ones last week. All right, so Key, CLPT. Let's see what you got for this week. Sorry about the audio today, folks. Sometimes I don't do anything different, but sometimes a mic works, sometimes it doesn't. Kind of tricky there. All right, so CLPT. All right, definitely bullish right now. Coming off a nice bottom on the weekly chart. Boy, I like this one again too. So this one here kind of retraced a little much for it to be a wave 4. Let me just grab the retracements here and let's just double check that one. See, that's the normal retracement area. And as you can see, it came way down and it breached really just about where wave 1 was. So I'm going to call this a 2. So if it's a 2, that means we're going into a 3. So there you have it. All right. Now, this might have been a better trade back on the earlier pyramids here, right? Because we had, when this here pyramid was hit, this was green, yellow's okay. And so it looked actually pretty good. So that would have been the ideal entry. So we're getting in a little late here. You can put your stop if you want to go in here, right here. Because there's your big pullback after the 1 up, 2, all right, and so forth. Now, there's always an alternate wave count. That alternate wave count could be, of course, this is a B, C correction, and then we'll head back down. But I think it looks pretty good. If you're going to go in, put your stop here, or you can wait for another correction and go in. So that's CLPT, but that is one that's actually looking good even on the 60-minute chart. So no issues there, okay? Let's take a look at his next one, CELH. And he's already long on these anyway, so let's just see if there's any opportunity here. Same type of thing. Let's let this all load. All right, so this is the same type of thing, exactly. All right, almost a duplicate scenario here. Now, let's see on this one, a little different though, because it looks like this is a wave 4, all right? So you kind of see that stop pretty much in the fib retracement area on the weekly chart. So let's draw up a fib extension and see where this could be going. So this is your target for wave 5. So you've got some pretty good distance left on this. So this looks pretty good. Again, if you're going to go in now, all right, put your stop here. Put your stop here for right now. Give that thing a leeway because we've already jumped up enough. This should hold. This pyramid should be fine for a stop, but it's also very close to a fib retracement. So if you want to be just a little more careful, put it at the bottom. All right, but I like that. Okay, let's put CELH. I kind of actually like that one better than CLPT. All right, so there you go there. Let's see. I bet. How are you? I guess. ARKK. Put ARKK and see what comes up on that one. All right, so he's long on these two. Well, you guys are good because you're getting in close to the bottom. Look at this. All right, so this is definitely not a 4 over here. Okay, this is probably a 2, possibly. This is pretty deep. So when you have a deep, you see this indicator here, this histogram, this is called the owl. So if I ever refer to the owl, that's the one I'm referring to. So the only thing I see there is it's still pretty deep. So that's got quite a ways to climb out. So we're kind of going against the long-term momentum, and we're going against the long-term pyramids, which are facing down. So immediately, if you go long on this, cut your trade size in half. Okay, I don't want you to get stuck in case this is just going to have a fake out here and then one more low. So I like it. I see nothing wrong with a long position as long as you cut your trade size in half. So ARKK is actually looking really good. Now, I like these simply because this one you're giving your chance to get in really early. This is bullish, no more red over here. So this is all green, this is green, and you got a pyramid. Okay, so you can get in early. Now, one of our rules is once you've had like 4 pyramids or 5 pyramids in a row, you're allowed to take these MPs. So you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can go take a early trade. All right, so this is a green light. ARKK is a very, very good trade, I think. Now, worst case scenario on this one, I think well, worst case scenario is you get stopped out, right? But the other scenario, worst case profitable scenario is that this baby gets up to about 69 to 91, and we're at 47. So that's a good 2-to-1 risk to reward. So the risk, if you put your stop here at the pyramid or even at the bottom, all right, you're still in the target zone with double that. So that's a 2-to-1. So I like that one. ARKK. That's probably the best one yet. All right. So let me get these right. ARQ. There we go. KQ is the next one. All right, give that a chance. Okay, so this one's setting up, not quite as far along as the ARKK, but this one is setting up. So put this on a watch list. Notice we're getting a little bit of consolidation here, which is typical at the bottom. However, okay, this did hold. So that's a good sign. So now we're waiting for this to go green, and you've got some pyramids forming here. And here's one that could be confirmed. So if prices get above the apex, that'll turn green. There's your long position. So wait for this to turn green and then check just to make sure the momentum here on the owl is also green. You have no red anywhere and you have green here. The only red you have here is this. So again, cut the trade size a little bit, but that's a good one, but not quite yet. Okay, give that a little bit more time. Okay, let's move on. Dan, how are you? Halliburton, HAL. Let's see what's cooking on that. All right, so Halliburton's been coming down with the market, basically. And it has rebounded, being in oil, right? So let's see what we're cooking at here. So basically, you know, it's been on a broad-based kind of long-term rebound, okay, since the 20s, okay, 2020. And now we're seeing this little bit of correction here, which is amplified on the daily chart and certainly amplified here. So that's how we're kind of looking at this. So we still got a red owl on both, on primarily the daily chart. We also have a red and active pyramid here. We're kind of far along in this type of pullback here. So I'm not sure if I would take a short position or wait for this to bottom out here. So, you know, I'm thinking here, we're already in the target zone. Okay, so we may be getting a bottom here pretty soon. So I don't think I'd go short here. I don't think I'd go long yet because we have the red owl still pretty dominant here. So I kind of would wait for this to go green. I'd like to see some more bullishness because right now it technically is in a downtrend and we have a pyramid on the daily chart. So I wouldn't go against that, okay? So that is Halliburton. Let's take a look at SABR. And the market's up about 104 points today. Okay, so here we got SABR. All right, so this has got a red PTF on the weekly chart. All the PTFs are neutral on the others. We've been moving down, all right? And so looks to me, I don't think I would go long here because what I'm concerned about is if this is a 3 in an Elliott wave, this is a 4, then we're kind of heading down to 5. And I probably would think it's probably a little too late to get into 5 on this one. So I kind of would not do anything with this one. That's SABR. Let's take a look at the next one. All right, PLTR. Dan, again, this is for you. All right, give that a second. All right, so not much history on this one. Still very bearish for the most part on the weekly, but we're seeing some type of bottoming possible. My only concern with this is the red PTF on the daily chart. Now, if this is a 3, that means you're probably going into a 4, and then 5 will basically come eventually. And of course, that's what this is saying, and that's what this is saying, and this is bullish. So here's a situation where you've got a possible correction that could be unfolding right now. The problem with this is that when you have a red PTF here, if you trade to the long side, it increases the risk. Now, this red PTF could last the entire way up to a wave 4 corrective area. Just realize that. But it may not. It may indicate one more low before it bounces off. So that's the risk. It's a little riskier, so I cut the trade size. All right. But if you want to go into that, all right, you can certainly do so to the long side now. Because basically what you'd be doing is trading to the retracement area. And let's just make sure, yeah, it's pretty close. It got a little more room to there. So if you use one of those pyramids as your stop, you might have the risk to reward in your favor. Not my favorite, simply because of that red PTF on the daily chart. But again, we have seen that PTF remain red during the entire wave 4 correction. So just lower your trade size to account for that, okay? So that's PLTR. I'm not going to put that on my favorites, okay, because of that. LAZR is the next one for Dan. And let's see what we got. Similar thing. We got the red PTF now still here and a red PTF over there. So it's still coming down. It's too late to go short and too early to go long. So hold off on that one and bring it next week. We'll take a look at it, okay? All right, thank you. All right, so let's keep moving on here. A lot of picks here today. All right, our next candidate, let's see who we got here. Give me a second. All right, is John. Hi, John, how are you? DQ. Let's take a look at old DQ here. Every time I see DQ, I think of Dairy Queen. All right, so let's keep going here. All right, so DQ moving up now. I think we might have recommended this one earlier. And we're looking at a really nice bottoming here, move off the bottom. This PTF alone is saying we're probably going to breach above 130. So if you're going to make it to that 130 mark, we're at $74 now and 16 cents. You got to keep that stop fairly far away to allow the market to pull back and breathe as it's on its way up. Let's take a look at the daily chart here. All right, so I think we actually talked about this before. Looks really good. It has sprung off the bottom, which is here. And we had our first entry here. So our stop now is here. This is how we trail our stops under the new pyramids. So the question is, can you get in now? And the answer is, if you're trying to get all the way up here, yes. Okay, you certainly could. And what I would do for a stop is I would try to, you're going to get a pullback. And here's the problem. All right. The point of inflection of a normal pullback will be here. This pyramid should hold. So you could use that pyramid. But if it gets a little more volatile, you might get stopped out. And if that's the case, go ahead and take it and then wait for the reversal. Or you could use this pyramid further back. I'll leave that up to you depending on how large your account is and how you can adjust the trade size. So I'm liking this. All right. DQ is along, a little late, but not too late. All right. So that is DQ. And that's for John. All right. Let's see. Al back again with BYND. BYND. You guys are really hitting it today. Ooh, Al, not a bad one. Okay, so bullish 60. We got a pyramid after at least 4 to 5 P pyramids, red colored pyramids in a row on the downtrend. So yeah, this is a good one. This is one of the best today too. Boy, we got a lot of good ones today. All right, so this is BYND. All right, so now look at that move down. So just from a technical standpoint, what a great trade to the downside. But now things are beginning to change, and we can see we have bullish divergence here building, almost triple. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We have a green momentum coming back, which is a must to go long. This is bullish. Well, I'm liking this one a lot. It's one of my favorites today. All right, so where's it going? Let's just take a worst case scenario and draw a fib retracement and see where this bad boy's going. So it's going probably to 80 or 75, possibly all the way up to 100. And we're sitting at 32. So that could be a double your money. All right, so this one so far is the best. All right, I like it. I recommend it. Use your trade size. You might want to cut the trade size, not in half, but a little bit. The owl is not as deep as it was on the weekly chart, so we're pulling up off that. The risk is that the bottom's not in. We go up and then we go down. Okay, that's the risk you're protecting yourself against. The trade is to the long side is going to be successful only if this bottom holds. But if you're trading off the bottom, that's what you want to do. Okay, so I'm liking it. Good one. BYND, leader so far today. All right, early entry and a great risk to reward. So that's BYND, and that's Al. Al, round of applause for you. Here, Al, I'll give you a round of applause here. I got my little. How's that? Hopefully I can cut this thing off. Okay, there you go. All right, so, and actually too, we got quite a few here. So that's not just for Al, it's for everybody. All right, so let's keep moving on here. All right, Key is back with CLPT. I looked at that one already. CLPT, got that one already. All right, let me see here. All right, make sure I got Stuart. I think I did not do you. So Stuart's RMD. Let's see what we got cooking there. All right, so Stuart, you're coming off a pullback bottom here. All right, don't know if you're long or not. You don't want to be short. Okay to be long. I'm just trying to figure out where this bad boy's going and if the correction is over. So we may be coming off. That's a pretty incredible move to the upside here. So let me just play around with some numbers here. So we did hit the target, A, B, C. All right, we still got this red. So here's the problem. You know, here's a great example of the PTF remaining green during a wave 4. Okay, remember I said it can remain a certain color during the entire wave 4. This is an example. Because what will happen is wave 5, okay, will make it accurate because it'll have a higher high. All right, so in this case here, we barely hit the target. We still have a red owl getting better, but it's very possible we could head back down into the target. So we've got to be a little careful here. But we are getting bullishness here and bullishness here. Now, my only thing is if you're going to take this, is not my favorite right now because I would have liked to have seen that a little bit more in the target zone, and I would like to see the owl in the weekly chart not so bearish. That's why it's not my favorite. Otherwise, everything else aligns itself because it hit the target in the whole 9 yards. So if you're going to go long, put your stop here. Okay, so this was a move up. This was the big first pullback. This is the next move up. All right, so you're okay to there. So keep it there. And the idea here is you'll make money if we breach the top, I assume. Now, we also probably at the very least will go to around an inflection point here. So if you see things reversing here, you might want to knock off a few shares. But this basically, when we trade off a bottom, we're assuming that we pick the bottom right. So put your stop, get out, okay, when that happens. And if you go to this time frame here, all right, the bottom you want to use for a stop is here, because if this is the new wave up, this will be a 1, 2, then it will be a 3. So we shouldn't go below 2. And that's inside wave 5 on the weekly, okay? So I think that looks pretty good. It doesn't knock my socks off for some reason, but I'm going to put it down as one that is okay. Okay, I like BY or BYND better. Okay, so just, but that's not bad. Okay, thank you. All right, BIIB. Boy, I haven't looked at that one in a long time. Of course, I got to type it in, right? All right, let's see what happens. All right, give that a second to load. All right, so here's BIIB. All right, so what's going on? All right, so we're looking at a possible bottom here. I'm liking this pattern a lot. Okay, I really like that a lot. This is an active pyramid in here, so you got to cut the trade size a little bit. But yeah, okay. The idea behind this, okay, first of all, if this is a significant bottom on the weekly, then we're going up pretty high. All right, we're going to like this is it's at 220, but this is showing we should get above this peak here based on the weekly chart. Worst case scenario is still good. Let's take a look and see. Let's be conservative and go there to there. So worst case scenario, probably 252. So there's still some money, all right, in there. In this case scenario, when I say worst, the reason I'm saying this is a retracement area. So basically, if it hits here, which it should, then it could sell off again. I'm not saying it will, but it could. So if the worst case scenario looks good, then the best scenario looks great. And then you would just hold the trade if no bearishness comes in. So yeah, okay, wow, all over the place. And you know, what's interesting here, remember when I talked about the Dow being close to a bottom of a wave? So the fact that we're able today to find so many long positions after a steep sell-off, this is exactly what I'm talking about, taking advantage of trading to the long side on a B wave. And that's why we're able to find all these stocks today. Whereas before, during the downtrend, there were no long positions because it was still in the middle of the downtrend. But A wave is almost over. So all good stuff. All right, BIIB is good. Now, let me just make sure. All right, hopefully I haven't missed any. All right, so let's see. Terry, you are next. Hi, Terry. Okay, SUN, Sun. All right, so Sun came down, still coming down. All right, so we got a red. We've got a red PTF now on the daily chart. So you can see the correction here is kind of just took out a base leg. So it's not quite, I don't think it's quite done with the correction yet. All right, that's my feeling on that. So we've got a red PTF on both the 60 and the daily. So if you're short, you stay short. And if you're using our tools, when this turns yellow on the next low, all right, think about getting out, trail your stops close, okay? So no long position on this. If you're short already, fine. If you want to take a short and try to capitalize on a little bit of movement further down, you can, but I don't know if you have that much profit left. You know, we're talking maybe $34 it'll go down to, maybe 33, and we're at 36, you know, that type of thing. Okay. So let's keep going. And Al's got another one. HT. Boy, Al, you are just a bastion of stock picks today. I love it. All right, HTHT. All right, so HTHT, give that a second to load on all the charts. Still waiting on the 60. The data gods are slow today. All right, anyway, let me talk about the weekly and wait for the 60 to load. Taking a long time. All right, so we've got a red PTF on the daily. So no long position. I don't think so. This is not my favorite. All right, it's a little messy, but I do think possibly it's had a good correction. So possibly going up at some point, there's the 60. All right, so here's my problem with this. You got bearish divergence here. You got this here, red. So if this was a major 4 bottom or a major pullback of any type, this would not be red. All right, this would be yellow, and we'd be off to the races to go to the long side. So I would just stay out of this one for right now. I don't think it's bottomed yet. HTHT. You see how having the correct tools help you analyze these markets correctly? All right, so all right, did I forget one? No, I got BYND. I got that one already. And that one looked good. All right. John is back with CLFD. All right, let's put that in there. Hello, John. Okay, so let's see what we got cooking here. Give that a second to load. All right, similar to the other one, you know, we started a correction down here. All right, basing, now it's moving back up. So it appears to be bullish, but again, the problem I'm having with this, as long as this is red, all right, it's saying the final low on this correction is not in yet. Now, if it abruptly turns green, then the answer is yes, this is probably a low, but it hasn't changed yet. Very bullish over here. But you know, you're kind of like, you know, we've had a lot of volatility here. Now we seem to be breaking out there a little bit. So that's kind of interesting. So this could be a complex correction, all right, where it's kind of going to do this, do that, and then go. So tough to say. This is bearish here. This is bullish here. So it could go either way. And because of the conflicting feelings I'm getting on this from the different time frames, I would stay out. Okay. For example, BYND is much clearer than a chart like this. So why trade this when you have that? Now, if you're in it, and you're in it for a long term, put your stop right under this pyramid. If you're going to trade it and take it to the long side, go ahead and put your stop under here. And if you pick the bottom correctly, you'll do well. If not, you'll get stopped out. All right. And if you always calculate your trade size, it's okay. All right. That's CLFD. All right. ARKK is looking good. Yep. That one's good. That one's good. Boy, there's a lot coming in. All right. RMD, thanks. All right. Key's got a new one, I think, CROX, right? CROX. Now, if I missed anybody's, type them in now, okay? All right. Let's take a look at this one. All right. So we have bullish divergence here, but we still have a red here. This is yellow. We got bullish coming in here. That's a good sign. We took out this pyramid here, so it would have been stopped out. No long positions. Still pretty deep here, but no longer a red here. So if you were trading this trend to the downside, what a great trade that would have been, because you just move your stops down and your stop would be here. So technically on the weekly chart, you'd probably still be short, okay? However, it's getting ready, I think, to correct, and there could be the opportunity for the long side. It's a little early, okay? We got to wait for this to turn green. Probably could happen next week, all right? So I'm not going to put this on a buy list. This has to go on a watch list because it's not exactly ready yet. Let me just run down the possible scenario. So if the correction's not over, we're still going to get to 91 to 121. So that assumes something like this to this. But if the correction's over and we head back up, that's a big deal, okay? So I would wait, take the long position when you get the green owl on the daily, put your stop at the very bottom. Don't move your stop at all right, until you get into the target zone here. Then you can decide how you want to play that. Because even if you get a nice move up to like 70 something, then you're probably going to have a pullback. So you don't want to be stopping out too soon. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, that's CROX. All right. All right, let's see. Spiders put 25 million bought, calls only 895. Do not remember strike price on each. Thoughts, Ben? That I'm not sure, Al, exactly what that means in terms of that. All right, be sure to give us a like today before you go. Absolutely, okay. Okay, good. Did I miss anybody? You guys were great today. Awesome job. Awesome. All right, so what do you think the best one is? My favorite's BYND, but you tell me. I'm going to go through the list, okay? So let's just see. We got CLPT, CELH were good. ARKK was very good. DQ, BYND, RMD, and BIIB. I think the two that I kind of like the best here, all right, there's actually three. Let's take a first look at CELH, and you tell me if there's another one you like better, okay? All right, we're going to take a look at CELH, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who recommended that, so if it was you, good job. All right, let's let that load here. Okay, so this is the one that looks like it's going into a wave 5 on the weekly chart. So he's a 3, there's a 4. There's still room to get in. It's a little further advanced. I usually like to get in a little bit earlier, but it has had that good pullback, and then it made a higher high. All right, so, you know, past the peak here. So you can put your stop here, right in this area here. And then your target is going to be around 104, okay, 104 to 144. And then don't move your stop too quickly. Let it try to get near that target before you do anything. So that's one, okay? And then we have ARKK. We put that one in here. All right, so this one here, what I liked about this one is it allows us to get in a little bit earlier. Okay, so you can put your stop at the very bottom, which is what I would recommend doing, or at least here. I think we might have just gone above that. So maybe here is okay. And then you want to leave that alone until prices get up here and then start thinking about moving your stops. All right, so you're going against the bearishness on the weekly chart because you have an active P, but you've also had three of those. And then also too, you have a very steep and bearish owl on ARKK. So that's the only thing that's going against you. So you got to cut that trade size down. All right, that's not so bad. And then BYND is my favorite, I think. And let's take a look at that one. All right, the reason I like this one is a couple, you're getting in really early, okay? So you got a really good risk to reward. You got a bullish 60, and this is turned green. We had triple bullish divergence, 1, 2, 3. All right, you do have this, but it is improving, which I like. What I don't like is when they're so deep and far away from the zero line. That's a little bit more suspicious. You don't really have any active pyramids here. It was a straight drop. So the thing about this is, what causes prices to go from this up to here is when you have a very steep sell-off like you've had here, you get a situation where you have a lot of people shorting the market already, and so then they cover. All right, they get out on any signs of bullishness. And we haven't had any signs on this until now. So you may have a lot of people covering their short positions, fueling this up to here. So that's kind of the way that works. So I like this one the best. BYND is the winner, but I'm also going to put CELH as a winner and ARKK. And then we have those others, which aren't bad either. Okay. So we got a lot of picks still to look. And you're right. We have a PTF on red still on the weekly chart, which is why I'm saying we're only going to get a retracement. Okay. So I don't think this is a major bottom, just an area where we can retrace. So the move down is not over, but we're due for this type of retracement. And it seems like it's now underway and you can get in early on it. Now, if you waited a couple weeks and it's up here, then it's too late to get in. But here, it's worth the risk, in my opinion. All right. But if you don't like that style of trading, you can take CELH or ARKK or DQ or RMD, BIIB is another one, CLP, CLPT. And so those are available too. So I think really good. Good job, guys. Awesome. So let me use my little thing again here and give everybody a round of applause if I can remember how to use it. Good job. All right. So I think that's going to be it for today. All right. I can put some day trading charts up. If you want to watch that, I usually don't comment on those. I just let them run. You can kind of see the software working. For example, we can go to the micro area for you day traders here. We can bring up a variety of different, this is what we do in our day trading room, for example. But you can take a look at this. All right, this is the MES, had a nice move up. Now it's coming down and it looks like it's not over. So we got the 1 minute time frame in the center, 5 minute on the right, and the 15-second on the left. So you can kind of watch that. I'll put the music on. Let me just thumb through some of these. Here's crude oil. Here, crude oil tends to be pretty interesting. Okay, crude oil. All right, a little messy. Okay, but it is moving up. All right, let's take a look at the M2K, which is the micro Russell. All right, so it's in a correction now, but green PTF here. So this is the kind of thing, if you had something like this, basically you run it up here. We're in the target zone. It's not quite done. I would look for a long position on the Russell as soon as this turns around and we have green here, because we have green here. So it looks like this is a 3 of some type, 4, and then we should get a move off there. So that looks really good. I like that one for today. Oil, not the greatest today. Let's see about this one. This has got a green PTF, so you could take a scalp trade up to here once you have this a little bit more green. Okay, so this is saying with 75% accuracy, that we're heading back up here, but it's still coming down. So once that's owl turns green, that could be a possible scalp trade just on the PTF. MNQ, let's take a look at that. All right, it's already had a nice run up, so probably getting ready for a correction at this point. Nice move up off the morning here. All right, pyramids caught that nicely. Let's see, MYM, same type of thing coming down now. So it looks like we're getting a little bit of in a corrective area on most of the equities out there. So I'll leave the M2K. This is the one I like the best. Let's see if we get a turnaround here to go long at some point. And this has to go green. We've got some green coming in here. So let's see what happens with that. So I would be more apt to go long for this if, you know, we get the opportunity here and we have hit the target zones. We got to be a little nimble here. So I'll just leave these up. All right. I don't think I'll say anything. I'll just leave them up and we'll see what happens with this for a few minutes. And then if you're interested, you can hang and watch. If not, we'll see you next week. Okay. All right. Anything else? One last time? Okay, that's it. All right, well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Okay, great to be here live with you. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back next Friday for Stock Analysis Friday. Good turnout today. Thank you, and love the likes. Okay, great. All right, so we'll see you next week. I'll go ahead and mute out and just put music on. Just a quick comment here on the M2K. Notice how on the 60-minute chart now, the owl is red. So we have to wait for that to turn green, and we have to wait for the owl to turn green, which is the histogram on the 1 minute. So those two indicators, or those two indicators using it in both time frames, keeps you out of a premature trade entry. So if this goes down and make another low, all right, you're not going to be in it. All right, if it bounces off here and goes higher, then they'll eventually turn green and you can go in it. But at this particular point, those two indicators alone, along with the pyramids, has kept us out of a long trade here. So we're just kind of in a wait mode here. We want to see this thing get bottom out here before we think about a long position. But we do want to think about a long position because this is green and we're right at the target zone. So after it settles down here, then we want to go. And then you can pick a bottom to try to put your stop at, or put the stop right below the fib retracement bottom here. But let's see what happens. This certainly still could be a bottom here. It's possible. We'll see if it breaches and goes below. But the momentum for now is negative, okay? So I just thought I'd throw that in. Okay, so we made a new low here. So that's a great example of never taking a green pyramid or a pyramid unless it's the same color as the owl. All right, so we're still heading down into the target zone. We have now a red PTF on the 15-second time frame. So you do not want to go long until all this works its way out. Really important to do that. Now, what's interesting is you're looking at a 1 minute time frame in the center, 15-second on the left, and a 5 minute on the right. Those are short time frames. And notice how long we wait for the right setup. So it's the same type of analysis we do here as we do on the longer term charts. But you know, people think, oh, you're trading a 1 minute time frame, you must be really hectic. Actually, not really. It can be hectic, but there's a lot of waiting involved while we wait for the right setup. And when you use 3 time frames like this, you know, you're basically even making it more strict, because we want to see some type of confirmation amongst the time frames. So just a little FYI, we got a lot of momentum to the downside on that 60-minute chart. So that's quite large. So far, it looks like a 3, 4, 5 on the 15 second. And as long as this owl does not go below this one, then this is a 5. That's a 4. And of course, that's a 3. And let's try to see if that is the correct scenario here. Give me 1 second. Let's go ahead and draw a fib extension here so we can try to figure out where this thing possibly could bottom. So it's getting close. So it may bottom between 1767 down to 1761, which will put it in this area of the target zone. You got a red PTF on the 15 seconds, so any rebound here is nothing more than a rebound in the downtrend. Now, if this abruptly turns green and this goes green, then we change our hats from bearish to bullish. But for right now, no joy on this, okay? You can't take a trade at the long side. You're not gonna go short because you're right in the target zone already. So you kind of just hang tight. So it's amazing how long you can wait, even on these very short time frames, for the right setup. And this is exactly the kind of analysis we do in our day trading room. So if you like that, you might want to hit that room. That's a fun room. And you know, if you buy any of our products or services, you get 2 weeks free in the day trading room. So you should take advantage of that. All right. Other than that, I'll go ahead and mute out, and you guys have a good day. I'm going to have to end soon because we do have some type of time constriction here. So I will have to end soon, but we'll be back next week. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Oh, one more thing I'd say. Now, if you like to trade more active, you can, make the 15 second your primary. You could have been trading to the short side on that the whole time. So it all depends on how active you want to be, and that's a personal situation. So you can do either the 1 minute or the 15 second, or if you really want to be a lot less active than that, do the 5 minute. So notice here we also have a yellow PTF now at the bottom on the 15 second, so that's healthy. So if we get to that target zone, we kind of want to have that yellow and then see a bounce off that. Okay, guys, I'm going to have to end here, okay? Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.